Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. This month, October, was the final month of my In Color Club, and I thought it called for a little something extra. So I made these cute little chocolate bars. Now inside, I've also got a little sentiment on here. I'm not going to read that. But I used the Massive Thanks stamp set and did some stamping on the side there. So it's a card and a box, like a gift all in one. So this is Merci. These are, there are 4 individual chocolate bars in here. So it would have been cute to mix and match, but this was as close as I could get to cinnamon cider. And it's just a little tab at the back. So I had one more to make and I wanted to show it to you. So I actually only had a partial club. I was 1 member short for the 5 colors. So I don't actually have Magenta Madness, which turns out is a good thing because I don't think there's anything even remotely close. But for my Just Jade one, I have the Hazelnut Almond Merci. I'm going to set these aside. Isn't it just so cute that it looks like a half-eaten chocolate bar? Now I am going to make a change on this one because I made these cute little like half pieces, but after looking at it again, the foil should be covering that part so that it looks like a half-eaten, like you're dipping into there. Anyways, so lesson learned for that one. But I went ahead and I prepped everything for this, and I thought this would be a great way for you to make one on your own. The only part that we're going to do together, other than the assembly, is making the actual box. So I need a piece of Just Jade cardstock. And I've got my directions right here. So we need a piece of 9 by 8.5. So we're going to keep the width, but we need to take 2 inches off the length. So instead of opening up my trimmer and figuring that out, I'm just going to take off my 2 inches because this is an 11-inch sheet of paper. So we want 8.5 by 9. And on the 9-inch side, which is our long side, we are going to start by scoring at 3/8. So there's 3/8 right here. And we're going to turn it and score at 4 3/8. 4 3/4, and then 8 5/8. And then on the 8.5-inch side, we're going to score at 3/8. Seven 11/16, and I'm so sorry to do that to you. So that's 1 tick before the 3/4 inch mark. And then 8 1/16. Hate to get 16ths involved, but that's what we needed. So we actually don't need this whole section here. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Trimmer, the blade part this time, and cut up to this score line. And then we can take that right off. So we will fold and burnish all of our scores now. And I'm hoping this is all going to turn out as planned because I did the other 3 boxes a week ago when it was fresh in my mind. So with a circle punch, it really doesn't matter what size. I'm going to use a 1-inch for mine. I want to punch a little notch, so just, you can either eyeball it or you can measure to see where your center is. Just a little thumb notch. And now we just need to do a little bit of cutting. So on one of the sides, doesn't really matter which one, I'm going to take this tab right out. And then I'm going to miter just ever so slightly on both sides. and miter this one. It's a very simple box to create. I don't know that it would fit anything other than these Merci chocolate bars. So this is going to be the back. This is where our piece of Whisper White will go. And this is, I'll give you the measurements. Now that I don't have my grid here, I can never tell how much something is. So I've got a piece of the Plaid Tidings DSP. And when you're constructing this, perhaps glue yours the other way around so that you don't have the open edge on the front. We can start by gluing both of these pieces down. And this piece is 3.5 by 2.5. So we can put this down right away. And just keep your plaid there. That plaid is 3 5/8 by 4.5. So we can glue that down as well. You can use Stampin' Seal or the adhesive of your choice. Kind of looks like we're tucking something in here. A little sleeping bag and a pillow. A very rustic sleeping bag and pillow. Okay. And then here are the chocolate bar pieces. And these, the soft suede is 1 by 1.5. And the crumb cake are 3/4 by 1 1/4. And I've embossed them with the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. Now, I would recommend doing 6 pieces in these sizes instead of doing these little pieces, because you just have to focus too much on trying to keep this uncovered. So do like I say, not like I do, and just make 6 that are 1 by 1.5 and 6 that are 3/4 by 1 1/4. And to save yourself some work, just take a crumb cake mat and emboss the whole thing using the Dainty Diamonds folder so that you're not doing a bunch of little pieces. Always try and work smarter, not harder, but it doesn't always work. Okay, so I'm just going to lay these out. If you choose to do these half pieces, they are 3/4 by 1, and the crumb cake is 1/2 by 3/4. But like I said, it's just, unless you remember to put that foil over it, it looks like you've got 2 different size pieces in your bar. And I don't know about you, but I don't often see that. They would usually be one size, right? So once you have them where you want them, you can ink these ones up. I didn't because they're soft suede. But when it comes to the crumb cake pieces, I'm going to ink them up with my sponge dauber just to make them pop a little bit more and perhaps a little more realistic. It's not the end of the world if you don't. So just try and line these up. And I should mention, this is not my idea. I saw an Australian demonstrator, I believe it was Kate Morgan. It's definitely Kate. And she had made a card like this, and I thought, oh, how cute would this be to do for like a big chocolate bar. And because it's my last month of In Color Club, I wanted to thank them for their participation and support over these last 5 months. So I figured a good-sized chocolate bar and a greeting on the back would be nice. I mean, we all love the chocolate part, but I wanted there to be more than that. And it was my way of saying merci. So just a little bit of ink on the 4 sides of this, and these ones get popped up. So I'm going to do all my inking first. You could also just dip it in there. In fact, that's giving a deeper look. We could do both. I have to say that inking like this is not a technique that I go to often. So let's add some on there. And if you want less, if you want to have to work at it less, use soft suede. Because it's crumb cake, it takes a little bit more to build it up. But I think it's in the little touches. So on these, we only have to do it on 3 sides. Whoa. I was just doing a video and talking about how when I'm using my ink pads, I tend to always go in the middle. So sometimes I have to remember to go to the corners and the outsides. Okay, and now for the fun part. So I am going to take some Terran tape and run it along the length of this DSP. And if you find it easier to do this before you attach it, by all means. So we'll take that off, remove the release paper. And now we're going to take some regular kitchen tin foil, and I apologize for the noise. Just rip off a length. Actually, that's a little too narrow. And all we're going to do is crinkle it up. Make sure it's at least the length of your bar. And now we're going to cover those partial pieces. And it just sticks. It's awesome. But do you see the difference between covering that end and not? I mean, big deal, right? But I don't know, it just bugged me. So now the next step is I have taken some Just Jade cardstock, some of the In Color DSP, and Whisper White, and I've used the Hippo and Friends dies, this lovely shape. I've cut out a piece of early espresso with adhesive sheet on the back, and we're going to put chocolate. You make everything better. And we'll do that in Just Jade because this is, after all, an In Color project. I want to highlight the In Colors. So once I've got that stamped, I'm going to keep that out because I need to do a little bit of stamping on my Whisper White layer. I'll remove the release paper from my chocolate. I highly recommend using this adhesive paper for this because you don't want to be messing with gluing this. We're just going to glue all 3 layers together. I would recommend doing that before you remove the release paper. I tend to do things the hard way. Okay, so glue that. And now we'll start with that C and the O in the middle, and we're just going to put it on a bit of a curve. And let the cardstock decide where it wants to go. So chocolate, you make everything better. And now we're just going to glue that on. I know that the green on this DSP isn't Just Jade, but there wasn't anything in the paper that I could find that I still had left that would work. So it's close enough. Sometimes close counts, right? Now the next thing I'm going to do is with some Post-it notes, I'm going to mask off a portion of my card so that I can stamp my thank yous here and still have room to write. That's about right. And I want to get some scrap paper. I am loving the Stamparatus grid paper lately. It's just the perfect size, and tear it off and away you go. So in this stamp set, there are so many great thank yous. So I am going to use massive thank you, thanks, and this thank you. The ones that are mounted. It took me a long time to get this stamp set, but it was perfect for this. Perfect. Oh, and I should say that the word chocolate is from the word chocolate, and the stamp that I used, "You Make Everything Better," is from the Nothing More Than, which, oh, I have it here then. Sorry, Nothing's Better Than. So it's from this bundle here. We've got the chocolate, and then we've got You Make Everything Better. So let's mount these guys. This is all going to be on Just Jade, with Just Jade, sorry. And I'm going to start with the Massive Thank You first. I think with those, I stamped one at full strength and one stamped off. We'll use the Thank You next because that's the next biggest one. So let's do one at full strength up there and then one this way. And we'll do a thanks. And we could do a couple of these ones. There we go. So then we can peel these off, and I reused mine for each of the colors that I did. This is the full adhesive Post-it, but you can just use a regular Post-it if that helps. And that's all there is to it. Isn't that fun? So now, what size is this? Let me tell you, it is 6 7/8 by 3.5. 3.5 by 6 7/8. It's just long enough to be a mat on here. If it's any longer, it kind of interferes with the thumb notch. And I have to tell you, the first time I made this, the box was perfect. The next time I made it was in, whoopsie. The next time I made it was in Bumblebee, and it didn't work out at all. Like, there was such a big gap. The thing really bowed, more so than this. And then the next time I made it, it didn't work any better. So I went to another color, and it worked just fine. So it's not crucial that it be super tight. But I think this is partly, they don't all do that. Like my cinnamon cider one is almost perfect. So I almost wonder if I got a measurement off. But look, the yellow one is by far the worst. There's no thumb notch either. And then the Misty Moonlight is the same as the cinnamon cider, and it's almost perfect. So I don't know. But I hope that you enjoyed that. I would love to know in the comments below which of the 5 in colors are your favorite. I know that I'm missing Magenta Madness. I'm kind of glad because I think it would have been a really bright box. But please let me know which in color is your favorite. Which of these boxes is your favorite? If you like it with the DSP, probably changes the look a little bit. Anyways, if this was your first time here, I hope you will consider subscribing for a new video each and every week. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment below. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button below. And we'll see you again soon, my crafty friends. Bye.